Okay, so this is going to answer the question that a lot of people have had, and this will pertain for people on the console, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or PS4, Xbox, right? A lot of people we've been playing DayZ 104, but this will pertain to other things in the future, like 105 and onward. But specifically right now, as of us recording slash streaming this, there's a lot of issues with the vehicle, and we're gonna walk through some of the things that you can deal with, or how some of the things you can do to deal with vehicles right now. Why are they disappearing? Why are they breaking? Why is it shooting smoke? And in this case, this is actually the gas station that's shooting smoke, but
Yeah.
it will look like the smoke if you wreck the vehicle. Thankfully, this car, knock on wood, it has not been wrecked yet, but this will pertain to all vehicles in the future that are ground vehicles. Yeah, I say ground vehicles. And this will help you put together a vehicle if you're new to it because they're definitely worth it, even though they're extremely fickle. But this will help you put it together, and we'll have some solutions for why cars are disappearing, and also some explanation as to why some of them are disappearing, other than thievery,
Yeah.
right?
And
Because the
also
thievery is
answer
pretty
that
self-explanatory.
answer the question of
Yeah.
why when you spawn in they're gone or they're in a different location inside your base. So we'll go over that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they are. Okay, well, let's go over the parts real quick, and we'll probably start with the smallest one first.
Yeah, let's go
Oh,
with
wait,
this.
okay, so
Here we go.
hang on a sec. Before I forget this, um, you will need motor oil at some point. In previous patches, we did need it. Since 102, 103, and 104, we do not need it. But please be advised, it's a 12 slot item. It's heavy. So keep, and sometimes you need more than one. It's like a blue container. It kind of looks squarish with a pour tip.
Mhm.
You will need to put it in vehicles in the future. And just so you know, if you're looking on my screen, it's on the engine block, and it's this like metallic cap right there where the engine would be, and you would pour it in there. Currently, you do not need it. Thank goodness for that.
Mhm.
You look like you're gonna work on it. Look at you. Yeah,
Yeah, I
get in
know.
there.
Yeah.
Bye bye too.
And remember when you find when you find it, obviously just bring an extra backpack with you because you're gonna want to double carry the car parts in
Oh
your
yeah.
bags because they're definitely heavy. They take up a lot of space. I mean, just the jerry can and the oil alone are going to be super heavy, and then you have your tires and the rest of the parts like your radiator, your battery, um, and whatnot. So you're going to want to double carry for sure when you're scavenging for car parts. Don't worry about the headlights
This
and
might
stuff
be
first.
This might be risky on this patch, but do you want to try to combine the backpack with the tires? And this is what he's talking about with double carry. You want to make sure a bag is well, yeah, yeah, go ahead. If
That's
you're building a car kit on one character,
that's
this is what he's talking about.
I see.
You want to make sure you have a mountain backpack and or an Alice backpack. You want them both.
Yep.
See how you can fit two tires in there?
Yep. So
Yeah, well, as you guys know, if we're on 104, you know this is really difficult because when the items are desynced, it's really bad. So we were hoping that we could still show you and do this
mhm.
at the same time.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we're not dealing with that in the future 105. So,
And to be honest,
and if you take off your backpack,
yep.
you can see that you can double carry both of these.
Oh yeah. Let me demonstrate real quick.
This is what we're talking about when we say car mules. You'll
Yep.
hear Razor talk about it. You hear me talk about it. It's an
Yep.
alternate account that is carrying just car parts.
Yeah. So you and we call them alts. And there you go. So see, I got two tires in my back in this backpack, and I got two in my hand inside this backpack. So like you want to be careful because honestly, with the desync issues with the items inside the backpack, the problem is say you're trying to and you're playing official and you're trying to basically get in and get out when it comes to the car parts. Sometimes the items will be desynced. So say you're trying to put that car together real fast and get out of there before somebody claps you. Honestly, if those are desynced, dude, you're better off taking the loot and running because it's y to get car parts, you got a loot cycle, and Jade and I both have videos on that, so you can go ahead and check those out on our channels. but you'll have to loot cycle all these parts for the vehicles. And I mean, who's to say, somebody's not waiting for you next to a car spawn and you just bring the parts up and somebody claps you because the parts are desynced inside the backpacks. That's terrible. It's happened to all of us. So you just be mindful when you're going for a car, have a battle buddy, and bring the parts.
Yeah, hopefully in the future we're not dealing with desync, but everybody knows if you're on PlayStation or Xbox, we're dealing with desync all the time. And I
Mm-hmm.
think server restarts help with that. One of the other issues we're dealing with, real quick, are the lights aren't currently turning on in the vehicles, even if you have the car and you have all the parts on, and the MVGs aren't turning on when you attach them. And I think that's all the same thing. The button for it isn't mapped. I think it's also the same issue with us having a hot drop.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember before on PlayStation and Xbox, we could just drop an item. I think it's because the button schema got messed up, and for that reason, all of those things don't work. So real quick, if you're at nighttime, either wait out through the night because you definitely don't want to wreck the vehicle, or use your reverse lights and drive backwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's very dangerous. It's very scary. It's not a great light cone, but it's better than nothing. So keep that in mind if you're driving at night, or if it's getting dark, find a place to maybe wait it out, pull over, do your thing. So hopefully in the future, again, at 105 or 106, we're not dealing with this crap, because it's really annoying, especially after playing on the PC version and knowing how cool MVGs are and how cool, obviously we know how cool the cars are with lights. We've done that plenty on consoles, but
Mm-hmm.
okay. So you want to go through some of the pieces and parts other than the tires,
Yeah, I was gonna
I
actually
guess?
mention too, if you're waiting through the night because you got to park your car because you can't see anything from a PvP standpoint, you really, really want to park the car somewhere like in the woods or obviously where there's a lot of cover so nobody can see it, and then strip the parts off of it so nobody comes and just you know takes you out, and then all of a sudden they just drive away with your car. I mean, it
Yeah.
it happens a lot. A lot of people just wait it out, and then if somebody sees a car off to the side and they just get a little glimpse, they're gonna start sniffing around. So make sure to always have your parts on you or stored away from the car when you have it parked. All right, so let's go over some parts here. So I'm gonna start with the smallest one, and these can be
Yeah,
really
yeah. Let me zoom in too. Sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead.
these can be really hard to see, especially when you're loot cycling. So make sure you hit the back buttons. So you do a vicinity check whenever you're doing like looting in an industrial building or something. So the spark plug, let me zoom in for you too. It's this little
It's so small.
tiny, tiny piece of loot, and
Sesame
honestly,
seed.
it's literally a important piece. So this is what you're looking for on a microscopic level. Here, let me go prone, and you can see it even better here.
Let me do it
Okay.
next to Razor so you can see it. It's so freaking small.
So that's a spark plug. Obviously, we all know that the car needs a spark plug. And then you have your jerry can. So two things about your jerry can, right? First, they spawn with gasoline in them, so you can fill up your vehicle with it. Second, what you're gonna do is when you get your car, you're gonna want to fill it with gas, then go to your nearest pond location slash river location and fill it up with water because you're gonna need that water to fill up your radiator. So it can be dirty water. You don't have to go to like a watering hole or something. So you're just gonna take the jerry can, fill up the radiator, and basically this is what the radiator looks like from a first-person standpoint. Boom,
20
there it
slots.
is.
Yeah, they can be annoying to pack up, especially with all the tires. But
Mhm.
you should go ahead and put it in the car because we stripped the car to show everybody, so we're gonna have to put it back together anyways.
Yeah.
And to piggyback off what you were saying earlier, you're right. The jerry can does spawn with gasoline, and in some cases, you're right. The best way to do it is to fill up the car with gas and then go fill that up with water. But since the two liquids that you're going to need, well, three liquids. There's oil, but we don't have to mess with it now. But there's three liquids. There's gas and then there's water, right? The water goes in the radiator, as Razor was saying. But uh, These cars run on very little gasoline. So what you could do, Razor was cool enough to have, or actually Odin got it for us. This canteen water bottles can be filled up with gasoline, and
Mhm.
there's a reason why we're sitting at the gas station here. If you don't have a jerry can, so you can transfer gasoline from a jerry can into a canteen. That is possible. But if somehow you don't have access to that, you can use a water bottle or a canteen, and you can fill this up with water, or in this case, gasoline, because this is currently our jerry can we already used, and this is how you know if you've got any or what its contents are. You hold it in your hands, you column over to the center column, and you say it'll say water or it'll say gasoline. Pro tip: in real life and in game, don't drink gas. Just
Yeah.
saying. Um, since we don't have this gas can is not available for us to fill up with gasoline, it has water in it. We're going to use the canteen, and honestly, this might be the better play. And gas stations look like this, and they're all over Cherno. If you're using a third party app like iSurvive,
Mhm.
I'll just show you a quick sample here. There'll be little circles with a jerry can on there. They almost look like a light poo brown color, but that just gives you an idea. Even though this isn't the spot we're in, they help you find gas stations. But you can walk right up to the pump with any container that can take. Did I shoot all these? Oh no, you can still fill them. No way.
So
One of
apparently
course
at
broken,
the
dude.
gas pumps, if you shoot them, you could still fill up your container with gas. And just for
So
the video's sake, I just want to show them the liquid inside. So basically just scroll over it and it's just going to tell you at the top if it's got water or gas in it. If you're trying to do it quickly, just remember what container has what liquid in it. And if you find an extra jerry can and you absolutely need water and it's got gasoline in it, if you pick this up in your hand and then you look down and you hold right trigger, you pour out the contents of the jerry can. An
this
FYI.
is R2
Yep.
for PlayStation. Yeah, you're right. If you have extra jerry cans, emptying it and then using it for water is great. But in most cases, you can just fill up a water bottle full of gasoline,
Mm.
and it's enough to get you to a gas station. And a lot of people ask, where do you fill up the gasoline? You want to do it over here since I got the canteen?
Oh yeah, yeah, gotcha.
Even though this car technically doesn't really need any more gasoline.
Oh man, there we go. Here, and this is what
Any
refueling looks
spot on the
like.
car that's a square will work.
Yeah, it's just typically
Because
where
it's
you
different
see it.
spots.
It's where you see. It's basically where you'd fill your car up IRL. You'd see it just like this. If I'll zoom in on it. There you go.
Got it? Is it empty now?
Yeah, it's empty.
Yeah, and then you can go ahead and throw that on your belt, homie.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that actually.
I don't want to take your canteen.
Up on that sub Odin. All right, so we got the radiator back in. Now we gotta get our battery in, right? So this is your battery. This is what this looks like. It's gonna come in like industrial buildings. You go ahead and you'll find them. Just loot cycle. You'll find them everywhere. So typically, you gotta attach it in the front right of the car when you're looking at the car. It'll say attach like that, and then you just basically boom, slap it right in there, and there's your battery. So you can see when we're starting to get all these parts of the car, what it looks like, how it attaches, where it attaches, where you refuel, where you put the oil eventually when 1.5 swings around. But this is pretty much the engine in general. Now, see, let's grab these tires, start slapping them on there. Typically, when you find cars out in
Yeah,
the
good,
middle of
good call.
nowhere, when you find the cars like out at a car spawn, wherever it is, it's gonna be missing tires. It's gonna be missing car parts. So you're gonna want to take some friends, start loot cycling together, and you'll get a car faster than doing it by yourself. Because it is a tedious process, but once you get it, it it is just the by all means the best mode of transportation. All right, disinfecting me. So there we go.
We have the spark plug, and then we need to fill it up with water.
know?
And it's a pretty big gotcha. Most people have said to me a lot of times, like, "Hey, my car is broken." Um, we could talk about the states of the car and like the different types of smoke and what it means.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this still, you cannot run this. It'll start to break the vehicle if you start to run it currently, right now,
You have a spark plug
because
on you?
there's no water in the radiator.
I don't have one
Wait,
on
do
me.
I have it? I do.
Okay.
Or it's on the ground and we're just not seeing it, which is
Mhm.
entirely possible. Yeah, we're not going anywhere without a spark plug.
Mhm. All right. Oh.
I just bounced off the car. That was
Yeah.
funny. Okay, so one of the gotchas is definitely people over revving the engine. Let me just go ahead and show you just is the spark plug in there? And I'm going to do it quickly. And it's kind of hard to tell because this one gas pump is smoky in our face. But if I turn this on real quick, this is what the smoke looks like when the radiator has not enough water or it's damaged or no water. Ready? Here goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit in front. Yep.
I'm going to turn that off. I don't want to burn it up. The longer you run it like that, the more damage you're going to do to the vehicle. Conversely, if you over rev the engine in the red zone for too long, you will do damage to the engine. And then the car will eventually break. Just like a decaying body in game, you're going to see if you look at the frame of the car, it'll show up red and it basically means the car is trashed. And you can
Mhm.
also tell because there's gray smoke that comes out of the hood, not white smoke. And here is the, if you look at the radiator, actually, here's the radiator. Did I put one on the ground yet? No. The white cap on the radiator is exactly where you put it in.
Yep.
I did put it in upside down. It did. So it's actually right here that's on the ground. Let me drop this can. It's so hard to see. It's on the ground. There's this little pipe here. But when we stick it in, you'll see a white cap that's right here.
Yep.
And this is where you place the water. And you don't need a full jerry can full of water. Uh, you just need enough to fill it up, and it'll tell you when to stop. As a matter of fact, it's not even going to use half this jerry can.
Oh, and another gotcha is when you're going to get water with a jerry can, make sure you got somebody covering your six because honestly, they take a little while to fill up. So if somebody catches you by behind, they'll clap you.
So now we have, and Samuel in chat brings up an excellent point. Bring a spare radiator with you, as when you do damage to the car, like run into something, which is inevitable, because on console we have performance issues right now on both the platforms, PlayStation and Xbox. No matter what version, if you're using PlayStation Pro or Xbox One X, we all deal with the same issue, and that's lag. And what happens is it'll throw you into something, and the damage will happen on the front, which means the radiator will take damage, and so will the battery. So it's also worth noting when you take out a radiator, it takes out the contents of the water too. So if you have to put a new one in, that means you're going to have to fill it up again. So make sure you've got an extra jerry can full of water. One of the main reasons why we filled this up with extra water and we'll carry around things like canteens full of gasoline because it can get you around. Because you're clearly going to need more water at some point because you're going to hit a tree eventually. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, Samuel said bring an extra radiator, and that is very helpful stuff. And then now, if you look, since we got this started, we can go through shifting real quick because I know some people are unfamiliar with that. Um, here's another just quick tip. A lot of people, when you're collecting car parts, that's awesome. We personally will wait on the car parts like the hood, the door, until we have the car operational because if you look, that's 100 slots and it's 20 kilograms. So it's heavy, it's bulky, it's hard to store because any item that's on the ground has a despawn timer, right? So if I were to stick this on the ground and leave, this would disappear. So it's hard to basically collect car parts until you have a car to put it on.
Mhm.
So a lot of times you'll see us drive around bare bones until we can attach it. But let's go ahead and turn this on real quick, and then we'll talk about why cars are disappearing. Well,
Okay.
hopefully that's fixed. I hope if somebody's watching this in 105 or 106, they're like, yeah, I remember that. That was lame. We don't deal with that now. But we are dealing with it currently. Okay, to start the car is right trigger on the Xbox, and that is R2 on the PlayStation. You hold it down, you hear the car start up, you're good to go. You look at all your gauges. We have the gasoline. We're clearly in the green, and we have the is that the temperature there at the bottom? That smaller
Yep.
dial. Kilometers per hour on the left, and then the gears. on the right in RPMs. And again, you saw earlier, you can over rev it. I'm gonna rev it close, so you can hear what the engine sounds like. And do you see this glitching?
Yeah.
This is the part of the problem. This is
Yeah.
also the first implementation of a Gunter 2 on the
Yeah.
console, so we're dealing with issues. You hear that metallic sound? That's not what you want. The longer you do that, the more damage you will do. But note that since we have the car parts correctly in the vehicle, there's no longer white smoke or gray smoke coming out. So just to shift, a shift up is B on the Xbox, and that is, I thought I knew this off the top of my head, I gotta check my cheat sheet again, is circle for the PlayStation to shift up. If you want to shift down, it's A on the Xbox, and it is the X on the PlayStation 4. And brake is left trigger, also known as L2 on PlayStation, right? Is it left? Look how this thing's jiggling, dude. Yeah. And neutral, obviously, you want to make sure when you're working through the gears, and when you're in neutral, you don't want to over rev, and when you're in first gear, you want to make sure you don't redline it. And another quick tip: if you're driving through and you're hitting a big city and you're seeing erratic performance, slow down. Don't go over like second gear. Like keep a speed cap for you. It might take you a little bit longer, but once you put a car together, you already know how long and how valuable the car is, so you definitely don't want to risk it. And just take it slow until you figure out the hot spots on the map that'll really cause those issues.
Yeah, because most
And just
important,
feel it out.
yeah, most importantly is you spend a lot of hours farming loot and car parts and whatnot. But when you think about it, it's like go bare bones in the beginning. Obviously, if you need doors and a hood or and like a little trunk window, don't worry about that. Get all your basics, your foundational like parts for the car, and then create, like Jade's saying, like a speed cap. Like I'm only gonna go this fast because honestly, with the glitches in the road, um, just like in high pop like areas with rendering and whatnot, it's really dangerous to drive fast with a car because it's gonna get squirrely. You know, if somebody shoots at you and you're going too fast, you're gonna freak out. You're gonna speed off the road. There's just so many things with the cars right now that you have to worry about that you just create a cap for yourself and make sure obviously whoever's driving the car is experienced. Don't let you know Scuba Steve come in and be like, yeah, I'm gonna drive the vehicle, and you just spent like 2 hours loot cycling to get all the parts for it. And I mean that's pretty much sums it up for the car. I mean, you know, obviously don't over rev it. Take care of it. Make sure you're always fueled up. Make sure you're always watered up. Um, honestly, when it comes to PvP situations too, as well with the car, park it as far away from the area you're gonna hit, and make sure you like take the car parts off and store them somewhere that you know you'll find them, and make sure your team knows where it is too. As far as cosmetics
Yeah,
go,
hiding in vehicles. Oh, whoops, sorry.
yeah. As far as cosmetics go, with the doors and stuff, honestly, don't even worry about it until after you get all your pieces.
Couple quick things as we're going through, and this is to help us primarily on 104 for console, PlayStation, Xbox, all that good stuff. Um, One of the reasons the car is getting stuck when you park it indoors or with an overhang, some buildings. So I think some buildings will clear it. So like if you park under here, it'll be fine. But if you park it in, I don't think this barn's a good. This is a good example. If you walk in here real quick, I'm gonna have to shoot a couple of these.
Yeah.
But if you were to park it in here, even though, yeah, you can fit it in here. There's certain pieces inside. See these rafters in here? The car will get stuck on those parts. It shouldn't get stuck. You know what? Let's go back to the car. We're gonna get overwhelmed. All right, run, 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 run. We're gonna get cat. Run, run. Don't
Yep,
fight him.
I'm running.
Get
I'm
up
running.
high, dude. I kind of forgot there was a bunch of zombies. Okay.
Eh.
Phew. Well, actually, here's another tip. Let's go back to the car. So if you're running around and that happens to you, you can definitely jump on the hood of the car and the zombies can't get you. So it's like a mobile safety zone. Like, you ever play the hot lava game? It's that. Jump up the hood. Leave your gun out. You can jump a little bit higher, I think, still.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then this is a good way to fight them off. Always, like, make some noise and see if zombies come up and use your car as, like, a defensive thing. Or just run them over. But be careful not to run over your friends. Anyways, to cover the reason why it keeps getting whacked, the cars get despawned, is they come down and they're not detecting. Well, it's better if I show you. I'm a terrible shot. Are you bleeding? You okay?
Oh, I'm good.
Dude, this zombie wants to fight me. Okay, so here's a good example. In most cases, if you have a clear ceiling, you're fine. But if you look just under Razor, if there's any object inside of the structure, the game is not detecting that correctly, and it'll take the car from the top down, and it'll be like, yeah, here's where you want it. Puts it in the rafters. The car goes no and gets wrecked. Anything in the car is gone. Tires, contents of the vehicle,
Loot that you got
the
stored
radiator.
in it.
Everything, it's gone. And here's the other thing. Since it turns red, it's like a decayed body. So if you're not in the area, your car just disappears. And you're like, where's my loot? So it either got stolen or that happened. So if you're unsure about a structure, test it first, or have two cars and test one, or park it in a field with nothing above it. That's just like surefire way to keep your vehicle now. And honestly, at the rate we're losing vehicles in 104, because again, the tips we have are for like 105 and 106, but like this is very specific to console 104. If you're losing the vehicle a lot, and you are, strip the tires off because that's the most valuable stuff, right? And if the car is there in the morning, cool, right? But at least you got your tires because it will take the tires with it. I'm gonna go whack this zombie.
And also, I
So
forgot
just
to,
keep a lookout. Like we've. Sorry, go ahead.
to piggyback off what Jade says when it gets stuck on the rafters and whatnot. If you can reach it, obviously, see if you can see if any of the parts are salvageable or not. You know what I mean?
We've had a car basically become a chandelier inside of a structure. We did it in a warehouse. The
Yeah.
scaffolding, the lights did
It's
it.
terrible.
The catwalk did it. Yeah.
And see, like,
I don't trust anything that hangs over the car until I test it.
ours actually got stuck in the rafters or on the catwalk, so we were able to still like get into it and then pull the parts out of it. You know what I mean? So we weren't at a total loss, but we just didn't have the actual frame of the car anymore. You know what I mean? So just be careful where you store it. Make sure there's nothing above it. Make sure there's a clear ceiling, and then you should be all right.
Razor, can you sit in the passenger seat real quick?
Mhm.
So doors stop bullets to some degree. And with the new update coming, 105, not only is the duct tape glitch going to be gone, but bullet damage will start to decline over distance, which is the way bullets work in real life. So obviously glass isn't going to stop anything, but if you were to happen, I'm hoping I can crack this first. Is that cracked for you?
Yeah, no, broke out for me. You're good.
Or did it broke out completely?
Yeah.
Alright. If you have a cracked windshield and it's hard to look out of, I would recommend taking it off the car. And then shoot the glass
Oh,
out.
there we
Okay,
go.
there you go. So if it's like this and you want to be able to see, like, okay, so Razor's got a perfect view of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want your people in the car to be aware of what's going on. That's super annoying to spot people with. So if you want to clear the window, because let's be honest, you're not going to stop bullets with glass. We're going to take this little guy off. And I like to just stick it on the ground like this, and then I shoot out the window straight up, and then put it back on. Then you can see.
Yep, and then you can get
See how
back into the action.
shattered that one got?
Yeah. Then you get right back into action.
And look at this. Boom. Another pro tip: if your door is ruined, don't take it off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shoot mine out because I feel left out.
It's basically just it's like gear, you know. It's Basically, like moving gear, like clothes you'd wear. If your clothes are ruined, don't take it off. But if your doors on the car are ruined, don't take it off. You know what I mean? Same concept.
Look how bad that one is.
Yeah.
I guess let's pick up these extra bags. Another
Yeah.
reason, if you see, I think we said it earlier, but if you've got extra bags, throw them in the back trunk, because you already know it's about collecting those tires. Bye.
Mhm. And for me, when I'm driving the car too, I like to switch between views, between first person and third person, so I can kind of gauge what's going on in my area. So it would behoove you to, kind of alternate between views when you're driving.
Yeah, so I hope that helps out people in 104 because we're suffering, and then it should help just general car tips for future versions as well. Hopefully, we're not dealing with 104 for too long. Hopefully, we're jumping right into 105.
Which will be nice. And if you guys are obviously watching the stream, drop those subs, follows, and likes if you're new. If you're watching this in video form, do the same.
That's RazorTube. I'm Jade Monkey. You can check out our channels. We post daily. What's your playlist called?
I have a
Called
couple of,
DayZ.
yeah, DayZ or uh, guide playlist, basically. So you'll find any type of tutorial or guide in the guide playlist for me.
Yeah, and that's RazorTube. I'm Jade Monkey. We both post daily. My playlist is the DayZ Highlights playlist. I'll have it linked below, and it's also in the description.